Executive Director of Vital Partners for Development, Dr. Victor David, argued that political candidate emergence in Nigeria is increasingly shifting from open competition to elite-driven selection. Joining us on the XL News Hour tonight to discuss the impact of selectocracy in Nigeria is the Executive Director of Vital Partners for Development, Dr. Victor David. Good evening, Doctor. Welcome to the XL News Hour.
Kudi, happy new month to you. Happy new month to Nigerians. Happy new month to Akwa Ibomites. And it's good to be here this evening.
It's good to be here, officially welcoming you to the month of June.
Thank you.
So June says it is a new beginning, I guess.
Yes, a new beginning is number for man. So man must dominate, including you.
Absolutely.
You have the principle of dominance in you, so you have to dominate the airwave.
We're doing that already.
Yes, and keep doing that.
And that's why you're here to speak to us about selectocracy. How does it differ, though, from democracy?
Well, selectocracy refers to a political system where a small group of powerful individuals, political elites, party leaders, godfathers, or influential interests largely determine who gets elected or occupy public office, while election merely serve to legitimize decision already made. Democracy, on the other hand, is a system where citizens freely choose their leaders through transparent, competitive, and credible election. Now, what is the difference? Democracy, people decide. In selectocracy, a few people decide. Democracy promotes popular sovereignty. Selectocracy promotes elite control. Another question you might like to ask is selectocracy a reality in Nigerian political system today? I will say yes. Many political analysts, including civil society group and citizens, argue that elements of selectocracy exist in Nigeria. This perception arises from allegation of imposition of candidate by party leaders, influence of political godfathers, limited internal party democracy, high cost of political participation, manipulation of party primaries. We've seen that in the just concluded primaries in almost all the parties, APC taking the lead and other political parties. Even when the people reject the appointee or the elected person, the godfathers in this system said, no, this is the person we want. If you check in Akwa Ibom State, you will agree with me, most of the people going for third term, going for second term, are completely rejected by the people. But the godfathers in the system says, no, you must go back. This is why we are crying foul for selectocracy in Nigeria. However, Nigeria remains constitutional a democratic state, and competitive election still occurs at various levels. Now, you may also ask, what factors have contributed to the emergence of selectocracy in Nigeria?
Before we get there, the Electoral Act, all right, offers political parties the right to choose how they get to, have political, the flag bearers emerge.
That's true.
The Electoral Act 2026 offers two, matter of fact, consensus and direct primaries.
Yes.
So when you say it is against the wishes of the people would be the wishes of members of that particular political party. Okay. And if some people would say, if you don't find that cool, if that doesn't sit well with you, then you look elsewhere to another political party, don't you think?
Now let's borrow this democracy we are talking about from United States of America. We have two parties, the Democrats and the other party in United States of America. In the third republic, we had SDP and NRC, two parties. In this fourth republic, currently INEC have approved 22 political parties, which for me is still too bogus and too large for any politician to come in and occupy. I would prefer, if we are borrowing democracy from United States, we should also have the Democrats and the Republicans in Nigeria. Now, when you talk about consensus candidates and candidacy, that means the elite still say, okay, this is the person, the party and the political leaders wants to occupy this office, which ought not to be, because they are not representing the people. Now, the direct primaries means someone will stand at your back. It's just like what APC just did during their primaries and say we are supporting him, and you'll be counted. Even though in the course of counting, we also learn another way of mathematics from 1 to 10, and from 10 to 100, and from 100 to 1 million. We've also learned another way of counting. That's direct primaries. That is direct primaries. But you see, some political parties in Nigeria are not financially buoyant to conduct direct primaries. So for that, they opted out to consensus a candidacy.
Whose fault is that?
It's not anybody's fault, because the ruling party are funded with government's money. Normally in the NRC and the SDP days, members of a political parties, they were paying dues to that political parties. So they had money to run the political affairs. And after that, we also had a time that federal government was giving money to political parties. But after then, what is happening in this Fourth Republic means that money is being taken from government funds. Like Serep has accused federal government that 80 million naira, 800 million naira cannot be accounted for. Billion. Okay, I was even trying to be cheap. Sorry. 800 billion cannot be accounted for in the cost of running only primaries in APC. So they had the funds to conduct direct primaries because it's capital intensive. Do you understand? Now, for consensus candidacy, it is quite cheap for everyone to come together and say, let's have this candidate to represent us. But this is not democracy if you use consensus candidate and because you don't have money.
If you look at that, it's the same thing that the ruling party has done, saying, oh, we will work with this person that is currently holding the office. We consensusly adopt this person, albeit let's try out the process and leave it out. But this is the person we adopt. If you are blaming the ruling party for what you call selectocracy, how then are you leaving the other parties who are not buoyant enough to go to the field to conduct direct primaries? How then are you leaving them out in that
Fantastic.
position?
You know, it's the father that shows the children the way to follow. Now, like we said, we are moving from democracy to selectocracy, and this selectocracy is actually leading us to dictatorship in Nigeria. If the people is not involved, participate in choosing who will be their leader, as a civil society actors, we don't look at the result of the election. We actually look at the channel, the preparation, the how the people participated in this process that lead to this results that will be announced in 2027. The beginning of it is these primaries. We've looked at it and we've x-rayed it and said, look, the way you are going about it, we can now see who is going to win in 2027, because people are not allowed to participate. The people of Abak is not allowed to choose their leader. The people of Esinobolo are not allowed to choose their leader. It is the people that should choose their leader. It is not the governor or the Senate president that should choose the leader for them.
But we're talking political party primaries now.
Of course, these are political parties.
Yeah. So if I don't belong to a political party, what gives me the right to choose the flag bearer, the candidate for that party in an election?
You don't have any right.
Because I'm not a member of the political party.
Because you are not a member of that political party. You don't have any right. But for whatsoever it is, this is the mother of all the parties. I'm still using APC. You know why I'm using APC? Is the mother of all the parties. So we are looking at them. They are the one to teach us the way to go, since they are the leading party now in Nigeria. Right. But we also have other parties in Nigeria that is also, like I said, we have 22 of them that is also trying to come up to make sure that things are happening in these democratic processes that will lead to 2027. So
a lot of people would disagree with you somewhat if you are pointing fingers. You will need to become a member of a political party to qualify you. That's the only thing that qualifies you to take part in a primary. Before now, it used to be delegates, and now the Electoral Act 2026 has cut off the delegates. We now have direct involvement of party, members. So it's a party affair. If you're not a member of that party, then you produce your own candidate, isn't it?
Fantastic.
So,
Absolutely. You have to produce your own candidate. But be it as it may, the primaries have come, the primaries have gone. Have you gone wrong as a journalist? I have gone wrong as a civil society actor to review the feelings of the people. How did it go? How did you feel about it? That's why we came up with this cry to the public to say, sorry, this selectocracy is almost taking over democracy in Nigeria. So but we have to watch out for it.
All right.
If you remain silent in the midst of tyranny, that means the man is dying more times than he ought to die.
Selectocracy has taken over democracy in Nigeria. What factors contributed to that?
Poverty, number one. Vote buying, number two. Weak internal democracy within the party structure, number three. Godfatherism and political patronage, number four. Excessive monetization of politics, ethnic and regional political calculations, lack of ideological political parties. Some parties are just operating on their own, no ideologies, no nothing. Now, you've asked me, how does it affect the credibility of election in Nigeria? It's going to undermine the electoral credibility because citizens may perceive election as predetermined already. These consequences may reduce trust in electoral outcome, increase election-related dispute, voter apathy. These are the kind of things we are going to look at for, because some people say, no, I will not vote. I don't have any business to do. I've been on this station and I've said that the number we scored in 2023 general election for the presidency is going to reduce drastically by 20%, because more than 20% of Nigeria will not want to vote. But we have encouraged them to turn out and vote. Get your PVCs and make sure you vote on that election day. This is the way you can choose your member, you can choose your leader and choose who is representing you. But I have to also tell you this: no matter how we vote, no matter what we do, these elites, political elites, have taken that decision, and this decision might be binding on some of us, and we may not have a say. And at the end of the day, we feel discouraged.
Well, what is the use of democracy? All right, when you have some determined politician already decide the outcome, just like you've mentioned, what is the use of democracy there?
There's no need for democracy, because the democratic structure, such as election, legislation, the court, the quality of democracy becomes weakened. There is no need anymore when political outcomes are heavily influenced by a small elite in quotes. Now, electoral democracy by small dominance, hybrid democracy, competitive authoritarianism tendencies is here. You discover that at the end of the day, whether you cry foul or you don't cry foul, they will tell you, highest you go to court. If you feel that you are not satisfied, let's meet in court. And the court who owns it, it's the same people that fix it. Check what is happening in Abuja. Everybody's complaining. We have a warlord in that Abuja as the minister of FCT. Is getting causing confusion everywhere. He has taken over the court and he wants to throw even the former president away from Abuja. So the court too is weakened. But I'm glad the court now have risen. Some of them have risen. The judges have risen to say, let's protect this democracy. Let's protect the Electoral Act. Let's protect our constitution and make sure what we'll be able to hand over to our children. Because one day, some of their children will ask them, Daddy, what did you contribute to this democracy? Why this country is dying gradually? Democracy is dying gradually. What did you do as a judge?
All right, let's get back to the political party primaries. Some of them would say they selected the best person, select, quote unquote, because at the end of the day, it was an election to them. So they always say, may the best man win. So to them, the best men won, right? So where does that come in merit-based leadership?
No, some of the people that are returning back let me use again. I'm not attacking a particular party now. Let me use again. Still the AP. Some of the people returning back because of the selectocracy tends to favor loyalty-based leadership, not merit-based leadership. Because they see them as these are the loyal politician. And don't forget, selectocracy will affect the citizen more, because when these leaders go back, they will pay loyalty to who sent them there and not the people, to who selected them, to the selectocrat who selected them, and not the people they are leading. Because if they are accountable to the people, they will come back and say, we've received 1 billion naira from federal government, and this is what we are using the money for. This is what we are using for. You are a witness that almost in the 10 federal constituencies in Akwa Ibom State is only one man that is almost alarming everywhere, which is only them. And it looks as if he's the only one that went to the National Assembly.
And it looks as if he's going to pay the cost for it.
I'm telling you. So what happens to the other 9? This is a case of Jesus saying that 10 were healed and only one came back to give testimony. What happened to the 9?
Well, you've identified these challenges, and they're very disturbing, right? But we are heading into an election. The primaries, like you noted, are done and dusted. Political parties are produced who will fly their flag at the polls. The polls are set for January and February. All this period between now and January, 7 months. I mean, the new June is just starting. 7 months would be for campaigning and all of those. What should the citizens do to ensure that the selectocrats don't have their way?
Well, I will advise all citizens not to go on protest. They have to remain calm and watch the new language that have been introduced into our democracy, which we've come up with selectocracy, and also learn, because sometimes we learn, sometimes we unlearn, sometimes we relearn. So what I expect citizens to do is let every political party concentrate with their primaries and concentrate with who they will bring out in the fairest and democratic manner that the people will agree that the processes was right. Number one. Number two, let the citizens get their PVC and make sure that they go out to vote, whether their vote count or not count, but turn out and make sure you exercise your civic responsibility. This is what we are looking out for from the civil society organizations.
Thank you very much, Dr. David Victor, the Executive Director of Vital Partners for Development. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on the conversation.
Thank you, sir.
Still listening to the XL News Hour on XL 106.9 FM. We'll be back in just a moment to talk business and international news. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, business owners and entrepreneurs, are you ready to showcase your business live on air?
Yeah! Share your journey, expertise, and passion with our engaged audience. It's not just news, it's the start of a conversation. Let your business take its place in the dialogue. Join us every weekday from 5:45 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. for one unforgettable hour. History, politics, it's all here, and it's all about you. Now's the moment you've been waiting for. Your business, your voice, your story. XL News Hour, where your business makes headlines.
Welcome back to the XL News Hour. In talking business now, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoino has disclosed that the introduction of the Treasury Single Account (TSA) has increased the state's internally generated revenue from 7.5 billion naira to 12 billion naira within 3 months, as his administration intensifies efforts to block financial leakages and strengthen fiscal accountability. Speaking during a media interaction to mark the 3rd anniversary of his administration at the Government House in Uyo, the governor said the TSA policy, which makes it mandatory for all ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to remit revenues directly into the government's consolidated account, has brought unprecedented transparency into the state's revenue system. According to him, the state generated 7.5 billion naira in the first month after the policy was introduced, rose to 10.2 billion naira in the second month, and climbed to 12 billion naira in the third month, a development he described as a major financial breakthrough for the state. Eno said before the implementation of the TSA, the state struggled with weak remittances and revenue leakages, warning that any official found violating the policy would face sanctions from government. And on to the international scene, hundreds of youths in Kenya's central town of Nanyuki today demonstrated against the establishment at the Laikipia Air Base of an Ebola quarantine center for American citizens exposed to the virus. The protest came 2 days after Kenya's High Court suspended the establishment of the facility and the arrival of any foreign patients pending the hearing of a case filed by the Law Society of Kenya and a constitutional watchdog. The two organizations cited Kenya's fragile health system as the reason why foreign Ebola patients should not be quarantined in the country. United States officials had last week said the U.S. was planning to send Americans exposed to Ebola while abroad to a new facility in Kenya instead of flying them home. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the administration's plans. They said the facility would be at Laikipia Air Base and would be operational within 50 quarantine beds by Friday. Kenya has not recorded Ebola cases, but neighboring Uganda has reported 9 and closed its border with Congo. At least 282 confirmed cases have been reported in Congo, with over 1,000 suspected cases of the Bundibugyo virus, the current species of Ebola, which has no approved treatment or vaccine. Elsewhere, the recoveries of 4 nurses who were being treated at a hospital in Bunai has brought hope that the response to the Ebola outbreak was beginning to bear fruit. The World Health Organization on Sunday said 5 people in total have recovered from the disease and discharged. The number of confirmed Ebola cases in Congo jumped to 282 after 19 new positive test results were recorded. The African Center for Disease Control and Prevention said that there have been 246 suspected deaths from the virus, with more than 1,100 suspected cases under investigation. The outbreak was declared on May 15 in Ituri, in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. It has since been detected in 3 provinces and in Uganda. And finally, on the international scene, France intercepted a sanctioned oil tanker suspected of being part of Russia's so-called shadow fleet on Sunday, with support from the United Kingdom. Officers boarded the cargo in Atlanta, which maritime authorities said had been flying a false flag when it was detained around 400 nautical miles west of Brittany. Taking an X, French President Emmanuel Macron said it is unacceptable for ships to circumvent international sanctions, violate the law of the sea, and fund the war that Russia has been waging against Ukraine. Moscow had been operating a shadow fleet of tankers with obscure ownership structures to evade international sanctions imposed on its oil exports since launching its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It is the 4th ship suspected shadow fleet vessel that France has boarded since September 2025. Macron said the operation, which took place in international waters, had been undertaken with allies, including the UK, in strict compliance with the law of the sea. heading straight now to the world of entertainment. Nollywood actor Stan Nze has stated that he can forgive infidelity in a relationship, insisting that love remains the strongest foundation for sustaining a union. He made the remark during an interview where he addressed questions about trust, cheating, and emotional endurance in modern relationships.
Love is enough. Real love. The love that Christ preached. The one that is agape. The love in Galatians 5:23 now. It's not built on flesh. It's genuine. It's the one that is selfless. It's the one that is kind. It's the one that forgives easily. Because the things that happen in marriage or in relationships that don't make it work, the fact that you cannot forgive, person do you something, you don't want to forgive them, you go carry on for heart. Love is enough if it's right love.
Pundits say his comments reflect growing debates in Nigeria about forgiveness and emotional boundaries in relationships, where rising breakup rates have been linked to mistrust, infidelity, and communication gaps. Still talking entertainment, popular Nigerian influencer Abike Rahim, popularly known as Papaya X, has addressed allegations leveled against her by the brother of a personal assistant who accused her of assault and failure to pay salary. The controversy began after a Nigerian videographer went online to claim that her sister, who works as Papaya X's personal assistant on a 120,000 naira monthly wage, had allegedly not received payment for 3 months. Papaya X denied all the accusations, describing them as false and misleading. She maintained that her employees are properly compensated and insisted that she has proof of payments made via bank transfers. She also defended her pay structure, stating that her personal assistants earn more than what is being circulated online, while questioning the authenticity of the allegations being made. Listen.
You're collecting about 200,000 naira every month, and you're saying that they are paying you 120k inside it is feeding, transportation, beside you in the house, not to go home. Why are you lying? There's a statement of account there. Everybody knows. Everybody that paid me for that knows that they're paying someone at his account. Me that literally pays all of us, because that is what I do for every of my PAs. So are you seriously telling me that 300k is too small for a personal assistant every month with free accommodation? How much are they even paying workers working with the government?
In this next story, Nigerian clergy Pastor David Ibiyomi has urged Nigerians to reject vote buying and prioritize competence over party loyalty in elections. He made the remarks during a sermon, warning citizens against exchanging their conscience for short-term financial gain, and calling on religious leaders to avoid endorsing underperforming political candidates.
Try not to sell your conscience. Listen, let me say this. If any of you collect money to go and vote, I hear people say, now money I will chop. The money you ate before is only for 1 week. If it will last you 1 day, what for the rest of the 4 years? Never sell your conscience for money. Nigerians, hear me. Now who give me money, I go vote. After you eat that, they won't eat again. It's time not to sell your conscience. Don't vote party, vote who can deliver. When masses say no, nobody can stop.
The comments quickly circulated online, drawing reactions from users who expressed support, skepticism, and political commentary. And talking sports now on the XL News Hour. The French Open will crown new champions in both the men's and women's singles event this year, after the exits of all previous title winners remaining in the tournament. With the tournament entering its decisive stages, several top-ranked players are still in contention, including Women's World Cup world number 1 Ariana Sabalenka, who heads a strong field of contenders battling for the prestigious title. The men's draw has also been transformed by a series of high-profile exits. Tournament favorite Jannik Sinner had been widely tipped to claim the title after defending champion Carlos Alcaraz, who was ruled out of the event due to a wrist injury. The situation became even more remarkable when 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic was also knocked out, guaranteeing that the men's singles championship will be a first-time Grand Slam winner. As a result, history will be made in Paris next weekend, with new names set to be added to the list of French Open champions and one player certain to celebrate the maiden Grand Slam trophy. And from a sports desk tonight is Amedon Silver with more on this and other sports stories. Hello, main event.
Hello, Cody.
Good to hear these stories from the world of tennis, that new names you'll be making it to the Winners' Hall. What about that?
Yeah, it's an absolute box office storyline. Looking at the Roland Garros, the French Open, it's been beautiful. It's a beautiful tournament for beautiful people, and so far so good. We are having a beautiful result, from when it started. And I mean, it started with Yannick Sinner or Carlos Alcaraz pulling out, and you thought, oh, this will be Yannick Sinner's storyline to go on and do something incredible. And before you know, Yannick Sinner got knocked out. And of course, maybe after Yannick Sinner got knocked out, I'm sure many fans would have given it to Novak Djokovic to probably get on to breaking that jinx, that voodoo, and getting that 25th Grand Slam. But it wasn't to be. Novak Djokovic also got knocked out. So all of the big boys, all of the big girls have been knocked out of this particular competition. And the ones remaining now haven't won this competition before. So that's the storyline, that one of them will, get on to winning this. We still have Alexander Zverev. We still have Joao Fonseca, we still have Lorenzo Musetti, Ben Charlton is still there. For the women's side of things now, Arina Sabalenka is there, Naomi Osaka is there, Mira Andreeva is there, and many other ladies who will be up and running. But the star match this evening will feature Arina Sabalenka and the very beautiful Naomi Osaka. We just can't wait for that particular one. But driving away from that, Cody, now we come back home and of course talk about a very heartbreaking situation. It's breaking. Aqua United have been knocked out by El Kanemi Warriors from the President Federation's Cup. It's ended 1-1 regulation time. Ubon Sunday coming up to restore parity for Aqua United after they conceded the goal, but it's a penalty situation and it can go anyway, just like we saw when Arsenal played against Paris Saint-Germain. It's ended 3-2. So another heartbreaking situation now for Aqua United. So Aqua United are out of this particular one. And of course, maybe talking about the one that happened at the Nest of Champions now, Rivers United against Rangers International. It was dramatic. It was box office. Rivers United winning that particular one 3-2. And of course, ending Rangers International's hope of getting to winning the President Federation's Cup. Barao FC also have won 1-0 against Abakaliki FC. Ikorodu City have won 2-0 against Jigawa Golden Stars. And yes, before I leave the studio, it's absolutely incredible to see the team of the season for the UEFA Champions League being rolled out by UEFA. David Raya of Arsenal is there, Lorente is there, Marquinhos, the Brazilian, featuring the one that missed the penalty on Saturday. Talk about Gabriel Magalhaes is also there, Nuno Mendes is there, Declan Rice is there, Vitinha, the incredible Vitinha is there, Olise is there, Kvaratskhelia is there, Harry Kane, and Ousmane Dembele. This is the team of the UEFA Champions League season. That's the story, Akudi.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Madam Silver, for this update. And that's it on the XL News Hour. But take my hand, I'll walk you through some stories we had on the headlines. We told you that a Akwa Ibom state government is seeking partnership with investors to transform and turn environmental challenges into profitable waste-to-wealth economy. And the Anang Legacy Forum has debunked an online publication claiming the coronation of one Okuku Umorin Essien as a Kukwik Maisong Anang. And outside the Akwa Ibom, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has promised that efforts will be made to rescue teachers and pupils abducted 16 days ago in your state. And in politics, Akparawa Michael Bush has promised justice and service as he emerges Labour Party gubernatorial candidate for the 2027 elections in Akwa Ibom. And on the international scene, youth in Kenya today protested against the establishment of an Ebola quarantine center for American citizens. In sports news, French Open has entered the quarterfinal and is set to crown first-time men's and women's singles champions after the exit of the current and past champions call them the big boys and big girls. That's the news produced by Menmenang. For more updates, do visit our website www.xl1069fm or follow us on Facebook at xl1069.fm or on X at xl1069_FM. We are also on Instagram at xl106.9fm. For your news coverage, you can call us on 0703-044-8822 or 0816-452-1298. That's it on the news this evening. Thanks for joining us. Top of the hour, 7 o'clock is XL Citizen Center with Mr. President Samuel Williams and Deputy President Rachel David White. My name is Okodi. Do have a beautiful new